Liz Truss is about as plain speaking as they come. You know, she's a remnant of the Thatcher era, although she was a Lib Dem when she was younger. But we can all be forgiven for our sins. Right. She is, you're right, not like the others. She comes from a working class background. Her parents were both working class. They, were not manual labourers, but they certainly weren't businessmen or millionaires. She grew up in a very ordinary town and a very ordinary house. She lived a very ordinary life, and the idea that she has become our third female prime minister, that she is now the leader of the United Kingdom, one of the greatest powers in the world, speaks to the fact that the Conservative Party is all about aspiration. And the fact that we managed to achieve it without any all-women shortlist or diversity quotas says a lot about the reality of diversity and equality, that you can't force it. It has to happen naturally, and that individuals that are, I'm mixed race, I'm working class, I'm a second-generation immigrant, and I would perish the thought of being handed a job because white people had been told that it wasn't for them, or that men had been told that it wasn't for them, they need to step aside. I think that it only fosters a lack of aspiration in minority communities, and it suggests that we can't succeed off of our own merit, that we need to have handouts, we need to have all-women shortlists, we need to be afforded special privileges in order to succeed, when in reality, women, ethnic minorities, people of different religions, they are just as capable of succeeding if given an equal playing field, rather than elevating them beyond their peers.
You made me think of a short exchange in the House of Commons. I think it was Theresa May who got it started, talking about the fact that all three women PMs were Tories. Here, take a quick look at this. I got a kick out of this video. Take a look.
May I congratulate my right honourable friend and welcome her to her position as the third female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Can I ask my right honourable friend, why does she think it is that all three female Prime Ministers have been Conservative?
My right honourable friend for her fantastic question. I look forward to calling on her advice from her time in office as I start my work as Prime Minister. It is quite extraordinary, isn't it, that there doesn't seem to be the ability in the Labour Party to find a female leader, or indeed a leader who doesn't come from North London.
Well, that's a hoot, and you're obviously a political commentator, and it's a feast for political commentators between Boris being ousted, the new, it was quite some drama of who would be the new PM, who's going to be the cabinet. Britain is at a lot of crossroads. The shocking rise in the price of energy, in part because, how do you put sanctions on Russia, which is one of the world's largest energy producers, one of the world's largest exporters to Europe. Like, there's a real crisis in the UK about energy bills. Give us a little bit of details. I don't think in Canada, like, we complained recently with good reason about our gasoline being about $2 a liter, which is atrocious, by the way. But natural gas for home heating in the UK, I've seen some reports of it being 10 times normal. Give us some stats.
So energy prices were set to rise by a minimum of 8%, if not 12, 16% in some cases across the UK. Energy bills were increasing by thousands, tens of thousands of pounds. Small businesses were having to shutter their doors.
So it was more than just 16%. Like, I saw some pubs saying last year our energy bill was £2,000. This year they predicted to be $20,000.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just 16%. It was like 1,600%. Like, how is that even possible? How does that work?
Well, it's because with the rise in energy prices and the lack of infrastructure that we have domestically, so we don't have a lot of our own natural resources. Obviously, there's Scottish oil, there's British gas, but a lot of our reliance did come from Russia, and we have completely cut them off. We've completely shuttered those operations, and so right now we're facing a struggle to get enough gas and get enough oil and get enough natural resources to keep everyone's homes heated and homes warm and on. And something that I think is very good, first of all, is that the new Prime Minister Liz Truss has pledged to scrap the national insurance tax rise. So it was planned to rise from 19% to 25%. That was a policy put in place by Rishi Sunak. She has said that's absolutely not going to happen. So that's going to put some immediate cash back into the pockets of those that need it most. The ban on fracking has been lifted.
That's so important. That's incredible.
Exactly.
When I think of the UK, I think of climate protesters. I think of Extinction Rebellion.
Gluing your hands to the motorway.
The dumbest stuff. And so to say, boom, we're getting rid of the ban on fracking, that's such an enormous change done really just with the wave of a wand. That's incredible.
Yeah. Nuclear energy is another thing that is being seriously investigated by the Conservative government at the moment, because it was Caroline Lucas, I believe, that said back in 2010, she said it would take 10 years to get nuclear energy off the ground. And she said she didn't think there would be a need for it, that it wasn't, that the need for nuclear energy didn't outweigh the demand. And the climate issues that come along with nuclear energy supposedly. But now it's 2022 and we're facing the worst energy crisis we've had in modern memory. The idea of blackouts in winter in the 21st century is beyond comprehension. And so right now the immediate focus is, I'd say, reevaluating net zero and green energy policies, scrapping the green levy for now, which is used. So the green levy is used to invest in sustainable schemes. That's a tax on top of people's energy bills. Scrapping that needs to come first, in my opinion. Lifting the ban on fracking is a brilliant first step towards incentivizing domestic production of oil, gas, natural resources. I think that also looking at some sort of energy price cap, although that's very dicey territory.
Yeah,
because
you don't want to get into price.
Exactly.
Setting the price that's a little Marxist.
Exactly.
It's funny because Boris Johnson, what a character. And by the way, his eulogy to the Queen in Parliament was the best I've ever heard. Would you agree with me that one of the reasons he was given the heave-ho was because of the lockdowns, the cheating and the rule breaking? And is that an accurate? I mean, there were a number of reasons. He was sort of a mess in a number of ways. But was the straw that broke the camel's back, was it because he knew about parties that broke the rule? Is that an accurate assessment of the final reason that gave him the boot?
I wouldn't say that would be the final reason, because we saw him continue on. We saw him carry on afterwards. There was massive uproar, both within the party and in the public eye, but we didn't see the wave of resignations come until the Chris Pincher scandal broke. And that was very much along the same lines of sleaze in government and of impropriety and cover-ups, the cover-up culture in Westminster. But I would say that the things that made Boris the most popular, the things that made him an election winner, the things that people loved about him, that he didn't play by the rules, that he was a character, that he was a showman, that he was, no one can out Boris. That's what has always been said.
That's true.
The Borisisms that made him so popular are what were his undoing in the end, because in a time of national crisis, in a time of pandemic and energy crisis and impeding recession, we don't want a showman. We want someone that's going to keep calm and carry on, that's going to put money back in the pockets of British people. We want a strong conservative leader, and I think that Boris ventured too far into the realms of populism.
What you just saw was an excerpt from my nightly show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every weekday I do a monologue. Usually it's about half an hour. Then I interview an interesting guest, and then we read my hate mail or my fan mail, whichever is more fun. It's only available behind a paywall, though. That's how we pay our bills here at Rebel News. We don't take a dime from Justin Trudeau. But the good news is it's only $8 a month, about half the price of Netflix. And in addition to my nightly show, you also get weekly shows from 4 other friends here at Rebel News. So you're getting 36 shows a month just for $8. I think it's worth it. And even if you're not quite sure, do it anyways, because we rely on viewers like you to keep us free and independent. I promise you I'll never take a dime from Trudeau. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com and click subscribe. Thanks.